Okay, you ready? We're not told much about the first years of Avram's life. We're told about his father, his brothers, they set off for Eretz Canaan. We're not told about his relationship with God. Interestingly, the Torah leaves out the story of the Kivshan Ha'esh. We're not told about his finding of God, his religious commitment. The first thing we hear about God's relationship with Avram is the call for him to leave everything behind and go to Eretz Canaan. We don't know who he is, why he's being chosen, what's so special about him. But the first thing we find out about Avram is that when he arrives in Eretz Canaan, he builds a Mizbeach. When he arrives there, it says, Vayiven sham Mizbeach l'Hashem hanirah elav. Mizbeach, Karbanot, a place where man worships God. The next pasuk adds another phrase, another dimension to Avram's mission. It says that Avram moved from place to place within Eretz Yisrael. In the new place he arrived at Vayiven sham Mizbeach l'Hashem. So we see the first one was not coincidental, it's part of a pattern. And then the Torah adds three words, Vayikra b'shem Hashem. He called out in the name of God. Avram was not just someone who was about worshiping God personally. He was on a mission to impact others, affect others. And of course, many explain this is why Avram is the first of the Avot, as opposed to those who came before him, who may have been religious, committed to God, whether it's Chanoch or Metushelach or Noach, most notably, but they weren't impacting, they weren't spreading the word. Vayikra b'shem Hashem. And this, of course, is the famous explanation of Chazal on a few psukim before, where it says that Avram took his wife and family, their possessions, v'et hanefesh asher asu b'charan. Chazal explained the people they had impacted, the group they had affected, and really asher asu, because by helping them grow, they ki'ilu had made them. In this way, Avram is really a turning point in the history of civilization, because the question of whether man sees himself as out for himself or about spreading the name of God is a question that was central to the Parshiot leading up to Avraham and now moving forward from Avraham. We read earlier in the end of Perek Daled the conclusion of the introduction to Zeh Sefer Toldos Adam, Az Huchal Likro B'Shem Hashem. Civilization begins with man's call out to God. But there are people who felt that their lives were about themselves. Whether it's Adam and Chava when they eat from the tree so they can be like God, as opposed to following God. Whether it's like the people in the end of Perek Vav, who are focusing on what they can take for themselves, the beginning of Perek Vav, the end of Parshat Bereshit, V'yikach lemikol asher bacharu, the Giborim who are known as Anshe Hashem, they are about their own names. Or whether it's the people in the Dor HaPlaga, Migdal Bavel, whose goal in building the tower is V'na'aseh lanu Shem. There are people who see life as being about themselves. And there are the contrasts. Most notably, the son of Noach named Shem, who's responsible for the first Kiddush Hashem. Baruch Hashem Elokei Shem. And both right before and right after the story of the Dor HaPlaga, we're told about the Toldot of Shem, because he's this contrast. Avram, 10 generations later, continues this legacy of Shem in seeing himself as being about the name of God, Vayikra b'Shem Hashem. And I think this is the logic behind, the basis behind Chazal's association of Malki Tzedek, who we read about in the wake of the war with the 4 kings and the 5 kings, Malki Tzedek Melech Shalem of Yerushalayim, their association of him with Shem, the son of Noach. Malki Tzedek meets Avraham, and Avram and he are gracious with each other, as opposed to Melech Sdom, who Avram refuses to deal with. This is because Malki Tzedek attributes Avram's victory to God, when he says, Baruch Avram le'el elyon koneh shamayim va'aretz, uvaruch el elyon Hashem yigein tzarecha biyadecha, vayiten lo maaser, they exchange a maaser. Melech Sdom attributes the victory to Avraham. Tein li hanefesh v'rechush kach lach. You take the spoils because you won the war. Avram responds, Harimosi Adil Hashem, I won't take from the spoils because now it needs to be clear that it's God who won the war. Like the halacha by the conquest of Yericho. El Elyon Koneh Shamayim V'aretz. Avram describes God as Malki Tzedek describes God. Avram and Melchizedek see things the same way. Chazal associate Melchizedek with Shem ben Noach. And this is really the continuation of our future, of the Parshiot's future, of Yerushalayim's future. Melchizedek Melech Shalem. The Jewish people see their mission, their place in this world, as being about teaching the world about God and about God's values. And at this very sensitive time for the Jewish people, where the city of Melchizedek is under attack, where the whole notion of justice is under attack, by people claiming to be emissaries of God, it's essential that we remember what it means to be an emissary of God, to be a Ben Avraham, someone who wants to impact people with love, someone who wants to teach justice and fairness, Melchizedek Melech Shalem, and spread the name of God properly. Let's be inspired to follow the model of Avraham, of Melchizedek, of Shem ben Noach, Vayikra b'Shem Hashem, of the true Kel Rachum Mechanim. Shabbat Shalom.